Today I will be showing you how to reformat CPAR panel conflict and demographic mismatch reports using OpenOffice. When the panel conflict and demographic mismatch report is downloaded from the CPAR web portal, it will be downloaded as a CSV file. To open the CSV file in OpenOffice, we first need to open OpenOffice. Typically, you can open OpenOffice from your desktop by clicking the OpenOffice icon. If you do not have an OpenOffice icon on your desktop, you will need to find out where the application is located on your computer and open it from there. Now, when the application opens, we want to double-click on the spreadsheet option. A blank spreadsheet will appear. To make the application easier to work with, we are going to expand the window by clicking this button here. Now, to open our conflict and demographic mismatch report, we want to click File in the top left-hand corner of the spreadsheet. And we will click Open from there. Now, find the file's location on your computer. Once you have located the file, double-click on it. A pop-up window will appear. In the Separated By section here, we want to make sure that only comma is checked off and the rest of the options are unchecked. Once you have done this, click OK. Now the file will open and look something like this. As you can see, it is hard to see the data in each column. This video will teach you how to reformat the file so that your clinic team can use the data for proactive panel-based care and continuity processes. Before reformatting anything, I suggest copying the data into a new tab. This will allow you to keep the original data so that you can refer back to it or have it as a backup if something goes wrong while reformatting. To create a new tab, right-click on the name of the existing tab, that's right here. Then click Move/Copy Sheet. In the Insert Before section, click Move to End Position, and then click OK. Now to rename the tab, double-click on the name of the tab. A new window will pop up. In this example, I will rename the tab Data Reformatted. Feel free to choose a name that makes sense to your clinic team. For example, if your team would like to sort the data by last name, you may choose to rename it Data Sorted by Last Name. And remember that you can create as many tabs as you want in the single spreadsheet and name them all differently depending on how they have been sorted. Once you have chosen the name for the new tab, click OK. You will see at the bottom here that our new tab has been renamed to Data Reformatting. So first, to make the columns easier to work with, I suggest deleting the top 7 rows. Don't worry, this information will still be in the first tab if you need to refer back to it. To delete the rows, move the mouse cursor so it hovers over the number 1 in the top left-hand corner. Now hold down the left mouse button, and while still holding down the left mouse button, move your cursor down to the number 7. Rows 1 to 7 are now highlighted. To delete the rows, right-click on any of the selected row numbers. Then click Delete Rows. So now we are left with the column headers at the top. Now let's also delete the second row, which is blank. To do this, move your mouse cursor over to the number 2. Click your left mouse button to select the row. Then click the right mouse button and select Delete Rows. We are now left with just the column headers and the data underneath them. The next step is to adjust the width of each column so that we can see all of the data much easier. To do this, move your mouse cursor so it hovers over the number A in the top left-hand corner of the spreadsheet. Now left-click to select all of column A, and while still holding down the left mouse button, move your left mouse cursor all the way over to column M. Now columns A to M should all be selected, and you can let go of the left mouse button. Now let's scroll over so we can see more columns. To adjust the column width, you will now want to move your mouse cursor in between any of the selected columns. So in this example, I will move my mouse cursor to the line between columns L and M. When you see the mouse cursor change to the following icon, double-click on your left mouse button. Now, when you scroll over, you can see that all of the data is much easier to see in each column. Now, let's change the formatting in row 1 so that the title of each column stands out from the rest of the data. Do this by clicking the number 1 in the top left-hand corner. This selects all of row 1. Now we can click the large B above the spreadsheet. This will bold all of the column headers. Feel free to format the headers any other way you want. For example, you might want to make them a different color. You can do this by clicking the upside down triangle next to the paint can up here and selecting the background color that you want. Next, we want to make sure that each of the date columns have the correct format. To do this, we will click on the letter B above the spreadsheet and click on the left mouse button to select all of column B. Now, hold down the Control key on your keyboard and keep holding the Control key down as you select the other date columns. So that would be columns F, and remember to keep holding the Control button as you scroll over, column I, and lastly columns L and M. You can now release the Control key. Now in the Properties box to the right of the spreadsheet, we want to scroll down until we see this number format at the bottom. We want to expand this by clicking the plus sign next to it. And a quick way of formatting the columns to the date format is to click this calendar icon here. Another way would be to select date from this drop-down menu. Now all of the date columns are formatted correctly. So we can now start to filter and sort the data to make it easier to prioritize which conflicts to address first. To do this, click Data above the spreadsheet here, then click Sort. The window that pops up can be used to sort the data based on specific column values. For example, say we want to sort the data by age so that we can see the oldest patients at the top. You can do this by selecting the date of birth column name from the drop-down menu. Then we want to make sure that ascending is checked off here. Then click OK. Now you can see that the youngest patients are located at the top of the spreadsheet. Now, say we want to see the youngest patients at the top of the spreadsheet. We can do this by again going to Data and then Sort. Now we want to make sure we still have date of birth selected here, and we will choose descending instead of ascending. Click OK. And now we see the youngest patients at the top of the spreadsheet. Another example could be to sort the data by conflicting provider. So that would be column J over here. To do this, again, we go to Data, Sort. Now, instead of date of birth, we want to select conflicting provider from the drop-down menu. And in this case, we will choose to sort this column in an ascending fashion. When we click OK, we can see that now column J is sorted alphabetically so that the conflicting providers are all grouped. Now you can also choose to filter the data so that only certain data or only certain values appear in the list. For example, say that we only want to see conflict categories that have happened in the last 30 days. So that means we only want to see conflict categories in column A that have a value of 1 in the spreadsheet. So to do this, we will click Data above the spreadsheet, choose Filter, and Auto Filter. Now we can see that upside down triangles have appeared next to each of the column headers. So in this case, we want to click the upside down triangle next to the conflict category column header. And we want to select 1. Now you can see that the list is much shorter and only shows more recent conflicts. To get rid of all of the filters in the spreadsheet, click Data, Filter, Remove Filter. There are many different ways to sort and filter the data, so feel free to play around with different options. Once you are happy with the reformatting, we need to make sure the file is saved as an open office spreadsheet. If you keep it as a CSV, the formatting will be lost the next time you open it. To do this, we will click File in the top left-hand corner of the spreadsheet. Click Save As. Now select the location you would like to save the file in. Please remember that the file has sensitive patient information in it and should be saved in a secure location. If you are unsure where to save the file, please ask your clinic team or PCN CII CPAR contact. Once you have chosen a secure location for the file, change the name of the file so that it makes sense to you and your clinic team. For example, consider including the year and month of the report. So in this example, I might say 2019-08 for August 2019. And I will name mine Attachment Conflicts Reformatted. Next, we want to change the format of the file. So we can do this by selecting the drop-down menu that says Text CSV and choosing ODF Spreadsheet. Click Save. Now the file is saved in a usable format.